Green Lantern's 53. This is Dan Jurgens writing, Marco Santucci on the art.
This book, I swear,
I'm, I'm,
is
I'm going to
bipolar.
I'm going to assume you like this issue, Matt.
I like the ending. The I I'm just gonna be upfront. I don't care about Eon. I don't know how this is factoring in.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Eon's gonna be one of these villains that we'll forget about years down the road.
Well, this is the weird
Um,
thing: is the Eon's not actually the main bad guy. Someone else is
no,
talking to him.
and that's what I mean. And we've had 3 issues of setup that we know that Eon's just the muscle,
I
right?
mean,
Like,
unless the villain at the end is revealed as the one who's talking to him, but that feels a bit.
yeah,
I mean, it
bit much.
works, but I don't know if
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what
yeah.
they're
But
implying.
but even with this, you feel like the setup is that you're gonna see who's controlling Eon because he keeps saying we, and it's like, is there a whole species that he's a part of, or
Hmm.
a group, and that's who's using these marauders to take out the different planets and stuff. Um, and you see a cool fight with him and Guy Gardner, and Gardner's able to deal with him, which I like,
Yeah, because
and,
he
and
can grow really big, and then guys like,
yeah,
oh, you can grow big. Well, it's not like I'm
cool,
lacking in energy, and then he makes a big version
yeah,
of himself that he's inside
yeah,
the
which is
belly.
pretty cool.
So
And then you get Simon, and he's like he doesn't know what to do because
yeah,
his ring's telling him one thing, but his gut's telling him to go
yeah.
with another.
That's why I'm not convinced that the reveal at the end is behind everything. Well, no, it must be though,
Right.
because that's what's getting Simon to come here. Hmm.
Right. And why is he? Why is this person? Because I don't want to spoil the reveal. Because I got to there and I was at work reading
Oh
this and I
yeah,
started laughing,
we'll get to it in a minute, but
and it should have made sense throughout.
it's
You know
just
what I mean?
weird. I don't see how he would have the power to corrupt the all the rings like this, or at least Simon's ring.
I'm I'm telling you, it has to do with the fact of his power set.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Like,
So I mean, up until that point, I mean, you've got Jessica, and Hal like protecting ships, and you've got Kilowog and Kyle destroying the main ship, which makes all the other ships sort of like blind,
mhm,
so they all have to evacuate. Whoever's controlling Eon calls him back after he's been fighting with
yep,
Guy. I mean, it's a fun enough ROM. All the action's kind of fun. The
yeah.
banter between the various characters is good. I think it's a solid enough issue. It's maybe not it's
Mhm.
probably a step down from the previous one. I think the art's definitely rougher than the past few.
Yeah, the art's
I
yeah,
think
the
that
art here I think looks really good compared to where it's been. It doesn't hurt that there's a really cool page with the polar bear on it. You know, it
that's
looks.
literally the opposite of what I just said. But okay.
I think this art. I don't know if it's the shadows or whatnot, but this didn't bother me as much as the other issues.
Oh god,
So
I much preferred the first two issues in this arc for
no,
the art.
no,
Um,
yeah. But you also like that shady where where there's a lot of shadows and stuff.
I mean I do.
That's
I think it makes sense for space especially, but there was a lot of times in this one where I was kind of like not feeling the overall kind of look. I thought some of the faces just felt a little bit simple. I guess is
well, yeah. All of the Marauders look the same, or the Ravagers, whatever they are.
mm.
Ravagers. They all look like they're the same person, like they're all cloned.
I mean it's
Um,
not bad. Don't get me wrong, but I
no,
feel like the faces and their expressions just felt a little bit in the simple and cartoony side at times for me. Um, and everything's very
which I like.
bright.
I like a simple style though too, and I feel like after the last couple issues where I wasn't
Mm.
so hot on the art, this was a nice change. Um,
Mm. I
so
don't know. It's just, I guess the most accurate for me would be this is the least interesting art we've had in this arc so far.
yeah,
Which
I guess.
it's a taste thing. I mean, but
Yeah.
so anyway, so yes, so whoever's controlling the rings is convinced Simon to go to Earth, and he ends up in the Arctic. And I immediately went, the Arctic? Are we doing a Fortress of Solitude thing here? What's happening? And sure enough, he's right outside the fortress. And he's like, I'm not breaking out of the fortress. This is Superman's place.
Huh?
And then we see like, oh, but I've got a message from Superman here, and the ring, like does a little hologram, and it's kind of obscure. You can see the S, and you can kind of see half the face. And he's like,
Yeah.
oh no, come in now. I'm trapped inside. He's like, okay then. So he starts, getting a big green battering ram up, and he's going in. And the final page is that the one who's actually sending him the message and presumably controlling all the rings, or at least his ring, is Cyborg Superman, which is funny to me because obviously Jurgens is the one who imprisoned them in here in Action Comics. So
Yep.
this is Jurgens just being like, oh, I've left that in there to play with. I'm going to use that.
It's Cyborg Superman. Like that's Jurgens. any Jurgen story he could get Cyborg Superman in, he's going to. Like, I think the only time I've ever read a Jurgens book where Cyborg Superman hasn't showed up was in Booster Gold. But I think at a certain point, they did some timey-wimey stuff and Cyborg
Hey, to
Superman
be
was the
fair,
villain.
I'm pretty sure he never showed up in Batman Beyond when he was writing it. Let's give him credit.
We don't know. We don't know yet because we didn't finish it. So, of course, as soon as they got to the fortress, my brain started going, huh. And then I'm thinking about all the stuff that from that Justice League arc with that Priest had done.
Mm-hmm.
That Simon has this. He looks up to Superman, and he's like, "Oh man, I get to go to lunch with him." So he's like, "Oh, this is why am I getting called to the fortress?"
That was a nice bit of connective tissue, though. That setup made this feel a little bit more. I don't want to say important necessarily, but it gave it like an extra little flavor because it was like it wasn't just like Superman who he barely knows. It was like no, we've seen him interact with Superman, we've seen him be nervous with Superman, so it added an extra little bit of character to this. Like I don't want to break into the fortress.
Yeah, what? Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. And then of course it's Cyborg Superman because it's Dan Jurgens, and I went, oh, he's a technopath. He can, and the rings. We forget the rings are technology. You know, they're not magic rings.
I don't dislike this. I feel like it's actually kind of a fun because I always like it when villains cross over to different heroes.
Yeah.
I'm always a fan of that. I think that makes for some fun, especially when it comes to the Green Lantern. Just kind of like I wasn't reading it, but Zod being in Green Lantern Corps. It makes sense for a lot of the space villains to end up fighting the Green Lantern Corps at some point. It works.
Well, I like that. It seems to create a cosmic like a I don't want to say crossover, but there's a sense of connectivity between the cosmic when you do this type of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and don't forget that Cyborg Superman was on the Sinestro Corps for a bit during the Sinestro War. He was one of their four pillars. Their guardians.
I'd forgotten about that. Yeah.
It was Superboy Prime, Sinestro, Cyborg Superman, and the Anti-Monitor. So.
Oh yeah, in fact, he's the one who nuked the city, right?
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So he shows up and it makes all sense. So I'm wondering if there's still a mystery of who killed the Guardian, and what's going on Mogo, because that doesn't seem to be technologically driven unless it's Mogo's ring, and because he's a planet, It's a planet.
Because they say that's still going on. All the ships have left, but Mogo's still having the storms, so that's still happening. I'm still intrigued by all that stuff, and I'm digging the plot. I think Cyborg Superman does make it feel a bit more schlocky, and which is okay. Like, I'm into some schlocky comic book storytelling as long as it's fun. I think the first couple issues, though, I definitely thought there was maybe like a more original, intriguing idea going on. Whereas now I'm just kind of like, okay, this will be fun schlock, and that's cool.
Yeah. And that's what I just. It helps too when it's Hank Henshaw, and again, there's ties to that cosmic side because of the Fantastic Four origin to him, and blaming Superman, and then overall the galaxy for his bad luck. So. Yeah, it's. I'm wondering how this all fits in now, and I'm enjoying it more that I know kind of where it's going. So it's not just this, because now I feel like if this ends, right, Jurgens is on here until Green Lanterns comes to an end because of this. Now it's better to introduce not to introduce something new that we might never see again versus something familiar that we can just play with.
Yeah. So no. So if we're going to rate it, then what are you giving it?
Yeah. I'm also going to give this an 8. I enjoyed this issue a lot. Again, I like the art. I enjoyed it more than the last 3. He's been on it for 3 now, right? Yeah. For the last 3.
No, I mean I probably enjoyed this the least actually if I think about it overall, but I did have fun still. I'm going with 7.5. But I definitely liked the first 3.
Yeah.
The first 2, because the first 2 had the art that I really liked from Perkins. Yeah. But yeah, so 7.5 for me.